Kia ora koutou, Markie here. So from the pastoral scene before you might think I'm in the countryside somewhere. I'm actually in the middle of London. Well, not quite the middle, but certainly in London. Now I'm in a common, and I'm by a path, so people will walk past. And in a bid not to infringe on people's privacy, what I will do as they walk past is give you a sudden skyward glimpse. So if that goes on, that's why. Don't worry if that happens. It doesn't mean I've been kind of hit on the head by a passerby or anything. I was just going to show you a bit of wildlife there, because I just put some food out for the birds, and the magpies come and taking some. Now, I made the mistake of trying to feed the waterfowl, and it's a Sunday, so they're fed up to the gunnels, mainly with crap, even though I tend to be feeding them kind of monkey nuts and things like that. And Sainsbury's do this. See, I'm on a tangent already and I haven't even started. Sainsbury's do this block of kind of peanut fat. I don't know, that's probably not a good description of it. Super cheap, which the birds love. The Canada geese, everything loves that. The crows love that. So I've been kind of, I am kind of offering them cordon bleu, really, but they're stuffed on McDonald's. But that's weekends for you. There you go. So first thing to say is this is a YouTube channel, not the television. So don't be coming coming into my comments section saying why don't you get to the point. It's social media. YouTube is social media. So I'm talking to my friends and followers and supporters. And if you're a supporter, thank you so much. I've really needed support from people lately because I have not been well. And I don't know where that's headed. Don't put that off getting in touch with us for help with retroactive jealousy, because we have a team. It doesn't matter how well I am. Now that magpie has come back, so I'm going to kind of show you the magpie. Oh, you probably magpies aren't that exciting. So that's a monkey nut that he's got there. I say he or she, that I put down. I didn't think anything was interested. Oh, here comes a friend doing some nice flying. Didn't think anything was going to come down for those monkey nuts, but the magpies have suddenly cottoned onto it. Let's put a few out to get them excited. So I will interrupted myself on the subject of tangents. So it's social media. I'm also neurodivergent. I like to think this channel is friendly towards other people who are neurodivergent, in terms of you might speak my language, or hopefully I speak yours. So we don't hurry to get to the point. In fact, the tangents and the little diversions are as I like to say, they are the raisins in the fruitcake. And you might think I'm a fruitcake, but that's fine, as long as you think I'm full of good ingredients. And that's really what this channel is about. The content is, well, lots of things that you just won't get anywhere else. Either you won't get anywhere else at all. That's a bold statement, but I stand by it 100%. And or things presented in a different way that you won't get anywhere else. So that's the nature of this channel. Now, it's a channel about retroactive jealousy, which is a horrible form of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and that's what our raison d'etre is. I'm talking about raisins again, aren't I? To help people with that condition, of which there are millions, I don't know how many, but it's in the millions around the world. Very few people realize it's a condition, and the ones that do realize it's a condition often don't realize that you can get help for it, and getting help for it is something that we do. So basically we have a group practice of counsellors, psychotherapists, coaches who can help you with your recovery online. Plus we put out a load of free, tons and tons of free help. There's a free program, there's all sorts of stuff, and loads of videos, of which this is one. So not all the videos on this channel, as you may have noticed, are actually about retroactive jealousy. In fact, probably the minority, a sizable minority. You can find them all in the playlist to save scrolling through, and there is the subdivisions playlists going into, so broken down into subheadings. Basically, the videos on retroactive jealousy broken down into subheadings as well. So there's a playlist, and there's specific playlists within that which will help you get to what you want to find. If you're new to recovery, then watch the Golden Rule and watch the Antidote Technique. They're the two kind of must-watch recovery videos for retroactive jealousy. So first of all, apologies, because I've been unwell. I've been very tardy in getting back to people. My colleague Dawn, who is an absolute angel, has been helping me out with that. Wouldn't be able to, I don't know what to do with that, Dawn, really. So Dawn's a brilliant therapist, and she also helps out in all kinds of other ways as well. So you might have come across Dawn. She has actually got a YouTube channel, but I think I've kept her too busy with RJ stuff for her to focus too much on her own YouTube channel just lately. So I just wanted to share it. So, well, yeah, the other thing is the reason we're a retroactive jealousy channel and we don't just do videos on retroactive jealousy is we would end up scraping the barrel if we were just putting out video after video on retroactive jealousy, and we'd be coming up with, we'd be saying stuff just for the sake of it. They'd just be little advertisements, really. They wouldn't actually be useful videos for retroactive jealousy sufferers and their partners, and we want the videos to be useful. So I only put out a retroactive jealousy video when I've got something useful to say. Or maybe I've got a kind of, I might have covered or touched on some of the content before. I'm not saying every video, because there's over 200 now. I'm not saying every video is absolutely unique and novel content. Sometimes we present kind of the same ideas in a slightly different way, or expand on things. But we don't scrape the barrel. We don't just put a video out thinking, oh God, it's Friday. Friday's the day when we put out a video. What are we going to talk about this week? Why would we do that anyway? Because YouTube rewards not the bold or the brave. It rewards the prolific. So the more you put out on YouTube, the more the famous dreaded YouTube algorithm shows your videos and your content to people. Okay, if you don't post very many videos, then it hides them effectively. Nobody gets to see them and your channel dies. So we don't want that to happen, do we? So that's why I put videos out about other things. Also, I like vlogging, so I would put videos. What I should do, if I was neurotypical, is and I didn't have some of the difficulties that not being neurotypical brings me, I would probably have 2 or more channels and be specialist. So I'd have a channel on whatever. I talk about so many different things, I don't know quite how I would manage it anyway, but I would have a pure YouTube channel, notwithstanding what I've just said about having to put regular content out. So yeah, what am I saying? Sorry, I'm being a bit unclear. Basically that's I don't know, just ignore that last little bit. I'm not very well. Cut me some slack, and if you can help us out in any way at the moment, would really appreciate it. So anyway, let's get on to the actual topic. And this isn't anything major, really. It's just a helpful way of looking at retroactive jealousy that might help you pry off the blinkers that RJ places upon your eyes if you are a sufferer. So what I want you to do is think of, I don't know whether you watch court, because at the moment, with YouTube, you can watch all these court cases, can't you? Live court cases. And I've been guilty of following a few. I've followed the Karen Reid trial, watched nearly all of that. The criminal one, not the civil one. I haven't been following the civil one. I always kind of have to give my kind of caveat about kind of watching these kind of things, because it feels a little bit ghoulish and voyeuristic in a way, because it's people suffering, isn't it? But I have an interest in criminal justice and an interest in the science and art of deception detecting. So therefore I follow a lot of these things for that reason. Not just kind of I'm not just an ambulance chaser. I'm not saying that everybody that follows this stuff is an ambulance chaser. Everyone's got their different reasons. In fact, in the true crime genre, most of the followers of that are women. and it's been posited that the reason for that is that women are usually the victims of these kind of crimes that are featured, and therefore there's a degree of safety-seeking behaviour in watching these videos, which I think makes sense. So I'm not dissing anybody for that does that, but I suppose I'm also kind of, you know, feeling is that Magpie again, or one of the magpies, feeling a little uncomfortable owning the fact that I watch these kinds of things. Anyway, so you can watch that, and then if you haven't watched that kind of thing, have you ever watched, you know, crime TV dramas that are courtroom based? I remember when I was growing up, there was a British program called Crown Court, and it was on at lunchtime. I used to go home from school at lunchtime because I was too neurodiverse and too antsy-pantsy to have school dinners, and I used to live around the corner from the school anyway, so I used to go home from my lunch, have my little lunch with my mum, and the telly would be on, and often it would be Crown Court, and might be worth looking at. The music was amazing. It had this really scary kind of serious kind of you know, this is the law kind of you know, program. I think it kind of slightly scared me, actually, this program. So courtroom dramas, I mean, these things like courtroom scenes, you know, they're portrayed in comedy sketches and movies and things like that. So I'm sure, you know, even if hopefully you've not had to endure actually being in court, because that's not a nice place to be. It depends on who you are, I guess. If you're the judge, it's probably pretty cool. But generally speaking, you know, as Mark Bowden from the behaviour panel says, you know, if you can stay away from court, you know, by any means that you can, do so, because court is not a good place. You probably got an image of the proceedings, probably of the barrister or lawyer, or in America, attorney. So a barrister in the UK, so what if you're not from the UK, you might not understand the term barrister. A barrister is a super lawyer, somebody that's been called, that's part of what's known as King's Counsel or Queen's Counsel. So they always used to be called QC, and now they're called KC. So when Queen Elizabeth II died and Charles III took over, a lot of these people had to change all their stationery. So King's Counsel, KC, that's what a barrister is. So a barrister is somebody that's succeeded to. I'm not sure the actual legal technicalities of it, but they're a higher level of lawyer, basically. They're the very best. So if you want to get yourself, if you're in legal trouble in the UK, and you want to get the best representation, you would get a barrister rather than just a lawyer. So a barrister, not all lawyers, all barristers are lawyers, but not all lawyers are barristers. Okay, so not to be confused with baristas who make coffee. I don't know why that's been turned into, romanticized so much and turned into this kind of amazing thing that you're a barista. In my day, we used to call it a tea boy or a tea girl. So I'm going to show you some Sky. So I want you to think about the dynamic, the courtroom, the archetypal, not necessarily even the realistic courtroom exchange between the prosecution lawyer and cross-examining a defense witness. Okay, so the defense witness, often they're talking about something that happened many years ago, because it takes a long time for trials to come to court, and often talking about minor details of someone's day. So for example, they're trying to remember what they saw 3 years ago, which might have been sort of very fleeting. It might have been something that at the time that they witnessed something, they didn't even realize the significance of it. They may have done. The lawyer might be the barrister or prosecuting lawyer might be interested in all kinds of other details of what happened that day. So just think, if you're in that position and you're being asked, okay, so we're making this video in 2025, so let's say put yourself on the spot. Where were you on the 16th of February 2022. And imagine that you are basically in a dock or on a stand, let's say, and you're being pressurized by this lawyer to remember details from 16th of February 2022. I can't even remember the date I just said. And they are trying to catch you out. They're trying to put pressure on you, and if you slip, you misremember something, or you contradict yourself, which people will do after a long time. So did you go to Woolworths, or did you go to WH Smith's? There's a little nod there to old British people, and it's like, oh, I can't remember. Or maybe at one point you said, oh yeah, I went into Woolworths, and then later on you say, oh no, I didn't go into Woolworths, it was WH Smith's. And it might seem like a minor detail, it doesn't matter at all really, but they're on you like a ton of bricks, like aha, so every word you say is being pounced upon, because this lawyer either wants to catch you out as lying, trap you in to make it appear as though you are as though you behaved in a certain way, so that maybe and to basically take away your reputation, to what's the word, to make you appear non-credible, or a liar, or just a disreputable, that's the word I'm looking for, a disreputable person. So that's what the lawyer's doing. So put yourself in the position of the lawyer. That's kind of that's their job. They're doing that for their for their client, or if they're a prosecution lawyer, they might be doing that for the Crown. They need to do that. It's quite a nasty process. But the law kind of, the whole process is based on people doing that. It's a confrontational, combative process. And the witness is like, that day, the 16th of February 2022, was pretty much like any other, except for they just witnessed, they happened to see something or hear something or do something. So we're not necessarily even talking about the guilty party here, although we could use that analogy as the guilty party. Now, is that starting to sound familiar? The RJ person is doing that, and the partner is like, oh, I don't know, I can't remember, it wasn't important. But to the RJ person, all these minor details are super important, and if they appear to say one thing, the RJ person remembers it. So they might have a conversation. You've got the person with RJ and the partner might have a conversation, maybe 5 years ago, where the partner said, I didn't have any relationships or any romantic or sexual encounters in 1971, and then years later they say something like, oh yeah, I had a boyfriend, or I had a one night stand, or I had a fling, or what have you. And then the barrister, the partner, the person with the RJ, kind of thinks, well, hang on a minute, and they do the maths and they go, that must have been in 1971. You said to me 5 years ago that you never did anything in 1971. And then suddenly you're in a courtroom. The intimidating atmosphere of the courtroom, where your every movement, your every memory, your every statement is being scrutinized with the intimidating full weight of the law. So I just wanted to share that, because it's a good way of kind of empathizing a little bit more with what it's like if you've got RJ, what your partner might be going through, and also to understand, and if you're a partner, just to respect how that feels. It's horrible being the partner of somebody with retroactive jealousy. You're put on the stand when you haven't done anything wrong, because sexual stuff is not wrong unless it's non-consenting. The only sexual or romantic thing you could do wrong, and obviously this is, people will argue about this, and that's okay. If you've got retroactive jealousy, don't waste your energy arguing about it. Use all your energy in using techniques to get well, by the way, because you never win an argument with yourself on this. But essentially, ultimately, sexual stuff how bad can it be? You know, how bad can it be? You know, maybe things that you know you might regret, and they're probably things that you don't do now because you're in a relationship. But did anyone get harmed in the making of your life story? Were any animals harmed? You know, probably not. Probably not. You know, maybe maybe your sexual past was a nightmare. Maybe you were looking for love and settling for sex. Maybe your sexual past was you know, wonderful and you had a great time. Good for you. But none of those things are wrong. Okay. But RJ people will tell you that they are, and certain people certain religions will condemn certain behaviors. But the thing is, you know, those religions also usually emphasize forgiveness and repentance, so that somebody's moved on from them anyway. So there we go. I hope that makes sense. I hope it's kind of self-evident why I think it might be useful to view your relationship within that model. You know, and not necessarily even a realistic kind of courtroom scene, but a kind of a, you know, maybe even a cartoonish courtroom scene. And I hope that is helpful. Thank you for watching, and thanks again for all your support. Hopefully we'll be better soon. I don't know. May not be putting out that many videos, so I don't know when I'll see you next or what I'll be talking about. But thank you again, and see you soon. Rangimarie.